Hello class, this is part one of what's probably going to be two parts of a video on Act 5, Scene 3. This is the last scene in the whole play, so we are finally done today. And I've got 7 slides here to show you in this video. So we're going to start off with this simple part. What you see at the beginning is Juliet's grave, but it's Paris that's there, not Romeo. So Paris is there simply because he's also sad, right? He was expecting to marry Juliet, and that didn't work out for him. And so, not surprisingly, when she dies unexpectedly, apparently by suicide, he's pretty torn up, right? Now, unfortunately for him, Romeo also shows up. Romeo there for a slightly different reason. Romeo has simply heard the rumor that Juliet is dead, and so he's going to see if that's actually true, right? So from everything he knows to this point, he just heard randomly that Juliet died from a messenger from his own house, and so he's also pretty torn up. This is not the plan. The plan was for the friar to send a message through a different friar. Lawrence, the main friar, says, "Here, take this letter, Friar John. You're going to deliver it to Romeo, letting him know what the whole plan is." And then just before now, in scene 2, John basically came back and was like, "Hey, man, I couldn't get through. There was like a blockade on the road, so here's your letter back." And Friar Lawrence is like, "Yo, my guy, like you had one job, okay, and it was to deliver this letter. So he needs to come up with a new plan." So in the background of all this happening, of Romeo showing up at the grave, Paris already being there, Friar Lawrence is supposedly like on his way to try and intercept Romeo to explain to him what's going on. But in the meantime, Romeo finds Paris. They obviously don't like each other, so they get in a big fight. They fight here, right around line 70. Romeo successfully kills Paris. Right, so at this point, he's kind of thinking that Paris is like messing with the grave for whatever reason. He basically accuses him of being a grave robber, trying to steal some of the riches that might have been buried with the bodies, and kills him. Romeo then proceeds to go into the tomb and does, in fact, find what he feared to find. He finds Juliet, and he thinks she's dead, so he believes it when he looks at her. Now, he's not exactly, how do I put this? There is a moment right here when he basically looks at her and he says, "Man, you just like don't really look that dead, right?" He even compares her to Tybalt right here. He says Tybalt is like super pale. You, on the other hand, like look like you're still alive. You still look beautiful. So even though with that hint of, well, yeah, man, she is alive, he doesn't get it and he thinks that she's dead. So he takes the poison that the apothecary gave him. This was his kind of backup plan. He says, if Juliet is actually dead, I'm going to kill myself. He goes, finds her. He thinks she is dead. And so he goes through with that plan. Now, unfortunately for him, the friar shows up right after he kills himself. The friar sees the scene, and he's now the one who's going to have to try and fix it when Juliet wakes up. I'm going to get into that in the next video. So hold on for just one second.